Opinion and of ritual rage. How Kashmir moved beyond the politics of paralysis. Security, in most conflict-ridden societies, is defined by barbed wire, bunkers, and men in fatigues. But in Kashmir, it has historically been more elusive, less about the number of boots on the ground and more about the distance between the citizen and the state. For decades that distance was cultivated by political actors, who rather than bridge it, weaponized ambiguity, praising peace in Delhi while indulging radical sentiment in Srinagar. Their legacy was not governance, but governed volatility, a valley suspended between grievance and neglect. It is against this inherited disorder that Manoj Sinha's tenure as the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, since August 2020, must be understood not just as an administrative assignment but as a civilizational rectification. He didn't come to manage crisis, he came to undo its architecture. Perhaps the most striking illustration of this reversal is the vanishing of hurdles, which used to define and shape life in the valley. What were popularly known as enforced media shutdowns were only pseudonymous political tools. They were enforced social stagnation on a wide scale. During previous regimes, people tried to avoid going into areas that lockdowns would take place or even justified them as expressions of unique identity. Sinha's approach was different. He did not outlaw them, he made them obsolete. By strengthening public confidence in lawful governance and dismantling the underground networks enforcing hurdles, not a single hartal has occurred during his tenure. This surpasses law and order maintenance. It is the psychological emancipation of a society. That psychological shift encompasses yet another profound wound, the glamourization of terrorism. In the past, political funerals for militants served as a kind of public spectacle. Pictures of dead insurgents fueled folk hero worship, and entire constituencies thrived on the tacit embrace of radicalism, while mainstream political parties either turned a blind eye or quietly endorsed it to maintain their vote bank. This fantasy has been dismantled under Sinha's rule, not through brute force, but by starving it of moral and cultural sustenance. Militant recruitment is at an all-time low and, more importantly, militancy has lost much of its romantic allure. No slogans. No crowds. No symbolism. Only the stark reality of squandered lives remains alongside alternative paths for those who are still at life's crossroads. The school systems, Mohalla watch networks, and human intelligence units all located these young individuals that could be groomed into terrorists and recovered through a careful intervention system. This type of counterinsurgency does not exist in traditional forms. It is the intricate layering of state social healing. There are no speeches to be given on television or medals to be awarded for such recoveries. These acts of governance remain unrivaled as they completely shift the paradigm of what governance means by protecting not only someone from violence but ensuring existence. The contrast with earlier regimes couldn't be sharper. For decades, the politics of Kashmir was marked by a tendency to avoid confrontation with the ecosystem of radicalism. Sermons in some religious spaces continued unregulated. Radical narratives circulated in classrooms and chat groups. Political speeches skirted around separatism rather than confronting it. Governance became episodic, a curfew here, a crackdown there, followed by years of studied silence. Sinha, by contrast, has confronted the ideological soil in which militancy grows, and made it infertile. But he has done so without abandoning constitutional ethics. One of the most transformative statistics under his watch, almost unheard of in conflict zones, is this: that the Shopian fake encounter didn't go unreported. That is not a procedural anomaly, it is a deliberate moral signal. The state, under Sinha, does not require shortcuts to enforce peace. Its strength lies not in its might, but in its restraint. This verification has permitted the restoration of the social contract apparent in areas where terror once dominated. For the first time since insurgency, school schedules are operated continuously. Children from Tral, Kulgam, and Shopian attend classes expecting to learn rather than stage walkouts. Teachers have started preparing for examinations, untroubled by whether they will be conducted or not. Markets no longer stand idle waiting for ambiguous orders that could halt operations. Return of normalcy achieves the highest level of security policy advancement. This environment has also fostered a resurgence of constitutional patriotism. The Tiranga rallies are no longer organized events, they happen spontaneously. Republic Day and Independence Day are now observed and celebrated with pride in the districts that previously cowered on those dates. In regions notorious for school assembly boycotts, the national anthem is sung now. This change is not performative, it is participatory. And this shift points to something deeper. After decades, the state feels native or homegrown to its people. A slogan or party line serves as the inspiration for this transformation. Rather, it is based on an intricate belief rooted in deep ethical conviction as well as aligned with administrative strategy. The recent actions taken by Sinha illustrate that peace in Kashmir does not come from a bargain with disorder in the region. It comes from decisiveness and consistency. In contrast to past leaders who ruled with muddle-headedness, he rules on principle. In contrast to earlier politics which depended on sentiment-based negotiations, he constructs his governance on law stipulations. Importantly, he has demonstrated that security is not the absence of violence but rather the presence of dignity, routine, and aspiration. Security is not found in the silence of compliance but in the confidence of citizens living their lives unfettered by worry. That confidence now exists in Pulwama's exam halls, Anantnag's sports grounds, and Kupwara's marketplaces. Swipe left for next video. And that is Sinha's enduring legacy, not merely the enduring suppression of unrest but the reclamation of normalcy as a birthright. In reclaiming Kashmir's security, he has done more than restore order, he has restored the possibility of a future. The writer is a social and peace activist based in South Kashmir. He is a Rashtrapati Award recipient in World Scouting and has contributed to many local and national publications on a diverse range of topics, including national security, politics, governance, peace, and conflict. Views expressed in the above piece are personal and solely those of the authors. They do not necessarily reflect News 18's views. Latest blogs.